I refused to pay $15,000 for my sister's wedding, so my mom stole my credit card and cleaned out my account. I couldn't stop laughing until my sister called me the next day, terrified. So yeah, Reddit, buckle up. My mom emptied out my savings to bankroll my sister's big day, thinking she was being all slick about it. Spoiler alert. She wasn't. It blew up right in her face in the most delicious way. Grab some popcorn because this one's wild. I'm Emily, 25, and let's just say I've always known my mom played favorites. You grow up just kind of accepting it. Some kids get praised and pampered, the others get left holding the bill. Guess which one I was? My younger sister Lily was the golden child from the start. Private schools, car for her sweet 16, tuition fully covered. Never lifted a finger. Meanwhile, I was busting my back at community college and working graveyard warehouse shifts just to keep up with rent and textbooks. You know, character building, as people love to say. But this was next level insanity. It was a Thursday evening around 7. I just walked in from work at the engineering firm, still in my dusty work pants, about to grab a drink and decompress. Then my mom strolled right into my apartment. Yeah, still had a spare key. Big mistake. She didn't even sit down. Just stood in my living room with her arms folded and that look on her face. Then dropped the bomb. Emily, Lily's wedding is in 2 months. She needs $15,000. You're going to give it to her. Not could you help or would you consider it, just a straight-up demand. I set my drink down real slow and tried to process what I just heard. Mom, that's my entire savings. I've been building that for 3 years. Her face didn't even twitch. Just that cold practice stare she perfected through decades of emotional blackmail. You don't need it right now. Lily's getting married. It's her special day. Family comes first. Or did I raise you to be selfish? There it was, the old guilt trip she'd been running since I was 10. Painting me as the ungrateful one for daring to keep money I'd earned through 60-hour weeks and skipped vacations. I took a breath and stayed calm. Mom, I worked my tail off for that money. Lily's 24, and her fiancé Mark has a job. Together they make double what I do. If they can't afford the wedding they want, maybe they should plan something smaller. Wrong move. Her eyes hardened instantly. So you're really going to humiliate your sister like that? Let her get married in some cheap dump because her sister's too greedy to help family? Everyone's going to know what you did. Your aunts, your cousins, all of them. The message was clear. She'd make me the villain for the rest of my life. Never mind that I'd already covered her car payments twice last year, and even paid for Lily's emergency dental work that somehow turned into veneers. But sure, I'm the selfish one. I'm not paying for Lily's wedding, I said flatly, meeting her eyes. That's final. The air turned ice cold. Her lips thinned, her eyes went dark. You're making a mistake, Emily. A big one. Don't say I didn't warn you. Then she slammed the door so hard the frame rattled. I sat there in the quiet, stomach in knots, knowing deep down this wasn't over. I should have changed the locks that night. Should have frozen my cards. Should have done something. But I figured even she wouldn't go that far. Yeah, I was wrong. Friday morning my phone went nuts. 3 missed calls from my bank's fraud department, 2 alert texts. My stomach dropped before I even opened them. I logged in and my heart just stopped. My credit was tanked. Nearly 15 grand in pending charges overnight. Checking account untouched. This was all on my credit card. And the transactions? A punch list from hell. Wedding venue deposit, 5 grand. Catering, 4,500. Photography, 2,800. Florist, 1,500. Dress alterations, 980. Reception decor, 467. All done within 6 hours. And my card? It had been locked in my desk drawer. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely dial the bank. Spent 20 minutes confirming what I already knew. Someone had my full card info number, CVV, everything. The rep asked if anyone else had access to my place. My mother has a key, I said. And she demanded this exact amount yesterday. There was this long pause, then the rep sighed. Ma'am, you'll need to file a police report. We can start the dispute process, but with family it can get tricky. I hung up and just sat there staring at the wall. My own mother had broken into my apartment, stolen my credit card, and used it to pay for my sister's wedding. Didn't ask. Didn't borrow. Straight up stole. My buddy Jake, been working together 5 years, called right then about our usual Friday coffee run. He immediately heard it in my voice. You sound like someone keyed your car or something. What happened? I told him everything. He was quiet for a while before saying, You either stop it now or they'll keep taking from you forever. He was right. It wasn't even about the money anymore. It was about the fact that my mom thought she could rob me and face zero fallout. I called her. She picked up sounding all cheerful, like she hadn't just committed credit card fraud 12 hours earlier. Morning, Emily. I hope you've had time to think about. You stole my card. I cut in, voice flat. You stole $15,000. Silence. Then that condescending tone I'd known all my life. Oh, don't be so dramatic. I didn't steal anything. I just handled it. Lily needed help and you were being difficult. You'll thank me when you see how beautiful the wedding is. I could barely believe her nerve. No apology, no shame, just acting like she'd done me some favor. I want my card back, and you're canceling every single charge. She actually laughed. Emily, it's done. Deposits are non-refundable. Just move on. And really, what are you going to do, call the cops on your own mother? There it was, the real manipulation. She thought I wouldn't dare, that I'd crumble under the guilt and stay quiet. She'd trained me to never make a scene. Well, not this time. You've got 24 hours to pay it back. Every penny. Or I'm filing a police report. You wouldn't dare, she snapped. I hung up. Then I called the bank again and officially reported the card stolen, and every single charge as fraud. The rep explained the next steps, including how to file the police report, which I scheduled for the following morning. But before I did anything else, I made a call that would end up being the smartest move I'd ever made. I called my dad. My parents split when I was 19, about 6 years back. He'd packed up, moved a couple states away, got remarried and started fresh. The divorce had been ugly. Turns out he discovered Mom had been quietly draining their joint accounts for years. That's why he finally left. He answered on the second ring. Emily, is everything okay? He asked, concern in his voice. Dad, I need to ask you about Grandpa's will, I said. The one you told me about a while back. Saturday morning, I walked into the police station with a neatly organized folder. Bank statements, transaction history, screenshots of texts, and a full timeline of what had gone down. The officer handling my case, Detective Harper, was professional but skeptical. You're pressing charges against your own mother for credit card fraud? She asked, flipping through the pages. Yes, I said evenly. She broke into my apartment, stole my card and spent my entire savings without permission. I have proof she was there. That got her attention. I pulled up the security footage on my phone, something I'd requested from my building manager earlier that morning. Clear as day, there was my mom sneaking into my place in the middle of the night and leaving 40 minutes later with a small purse. Harper's expression shifted immediately from doubtful to serious. This is solid evidence, Miss Carter. With this and the financial trail, we can definitely move forward. Are you sure you want to press charges? I'm sure, I said without hesitation. She nodded, started the paperwork, and told me it could take a few days for the process to move forward. They'd be interviewing my mother and sister soon, and she warned me to brace for backlash. Honestly, I was counting on it. The backlash was part of the plan. By Sunday, my phone was blowing up. Turns out Mom had told Lily everything. My sister's texts came in rapid fire, all rage and entitlement. Asterisk, how could you do this to me? My wedding's in 8 weeks. Everyone will know what a selfish jerk you are. You're ruining my life. Asterisk, truth be told, I was fine with that. I didn't respond, just took screenshots and added them to my evidence folder. That evening, my Uncle Mom's brother, Mark, called me. He was usually the reasonable one, the guy who stayed out of family chaos. Usually. Emily, he said, sighing into the phone. Your mom's a wreck. She says you're trying to have her arrested over some misunderstanding. Uncle Mark, she stole my credit card and spent $15,000. I said flatly. That's not a misunderstanding. He hesitated. Look, I'm not saying she was right, but is this really worth tearing the family apart? Can't you just work it out? Translation. Let her rob you quietly and keep the peace. She had a chance to fix it, I said. She refused. This isn't about the money anymore. It's about them thinking they can do whatever they want without consequences. There was a long silence. Then he said, "Your mom mentioned she's going to fight this. Said she has resources." My stomach tightened. Resources meant lawyers. Which was exactly why I'd called Dad. After we hung up, I opened the overnight package Dad had sent. Inside was a folder of documents from my grandfather's estate, specifically the trust he'd created before he passed 4 years earlier. Grandpa had been a successful small business owner who sold his company for a hefty sum, then split it among his kids and grandkids. But the trust had conditions, very specific ones. Buried deep in legal language was a clause that read, any beneficiary convicted of fraud, theft, embezzlement, or financial crime against another family member shall forfeit their entire share of the trust, to be redistributed among the remaining beneficiaries. My mom's share? $180,000, sitting in a managed trust she couldn't touch until she turned 62 next year. Lily had a smaller cut, $45,000, set to release when she turned 28. And here's the kicker. Grandpa had named Dad the trustee, with me as secondary. If Mom was convicted of fraud, I'd be the one to enforce that forfeit clause. Every penny of her share would be divided between me and my cousins. Dad had told me about that clause years ago when the will was read, saying Grandpa put it there to protect the family from Mom's manipulation. Back then I thought it was overkill. Now, it was my ace in the hole. Monday morning, I got a call from Detective Harper. "Miss Carter, we've reviewed your case. Based on the evidence, we're proceeding with charges. Your mother will be contacted for questioning this week." "What about my sister?" I asked. "She benefited from the fraud." "That's more complicated," she said. "If she didn't know the money was stolen, she won't face charges. But we'll be following up." After the call, I sent Lily a text. Every charge made on my stolen card needs to be refunded immediately. You have 48 hours. Her reply came fast. Are you out of your mind? The deposits are non-refundable. The wedding's in 7 weeks. I'm not canceling anything. I sent back. Then you'll be getting married while Mom deals with felony fraud charges. Your choice. You're bluffing. I didn't reply. Wednesday morning the storm hit. Detective Harper and another officer showed up at Mom's house for questioning. My aunt, who lived down the street, texted me updates the whole time. The cops were there for over an hour. Said Mom looked pale and shaken when they left, and Lily was out front screaming at them. By that afternoon my phone rang again. This time it was a man introducing himself as Richard Voss, Mom's new lawyer. "Ms. Carter," he said smoothly. "I represent Eleanor Carter regarding the allegations you've made. I'm calling to discuss a resolution. My client acknowledges there was a misunderstanding regarding the use of your credit card." Her lawyer cleared his throat like he was trying to sound diplomatic. "She's willing to set up a repayment plan, $15,000 over the course of 12 months, in exchange for you dropping the charges." I almost burst out laughing. "A payment plan? For stolen money?" I said, incredulous. "Your client didn't borrow my card, Mr. Voss. She stole it and used it for fraud. There's video evidence. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's a crime." The answer is no. His voice went cold. "Miss Carter, I strongly suggest you reconsider. Pursuing criminal charges against your mother will be expensive, stressful, and could permanently damage your family relationships. Is that really worth $15,000? "Yes," I said flatly. "It is." He paused, clearly thrown off by how calm I sounded. "Very well. But I should warn you, we'll be mounting a vigorous defense. This could get ugly." "I'm counting on it," I said and hung up. The moment I ended the call, my phone started lighting up like a Christmas tree. Aunt Laura, Uncle Mark, cousins I hadn't heard from in years. All of them telling me to be the bigger person, to let it go, to think about Lily's wedding. Not one person said, "Hey, what your mom did was wrong." It was all about preserving the illusion of family harmony, as long as that meant I kept quiet. Funny how family comes first. Always seems to apply only when they need something from you. Everyone knew Mom had a history of playing favorites and manipulating people. Everyone knew Lily had been spoiled since birth. But they went along with it because it was easier than confronting either of them. Well, I was done making things easy. That night, Jake came over with pizza and a couple beers. He'd been checking in every day since the whole thing started, just making sure I wasn't losing my mind. So, he said, biting into a slice, they lawyered up, huh? You think that means you're in trouble? I snorted. Nah. I've got video footage, transaction records, and her voice admitting to it all on a recorded call. She's screwed and she knows it. The lawyer's just trying to contain the damage. Jake nodded slowly. And the wedding? I opened Instagram and showed him Lily's latest story. A melodramatic post about how her toxic sister was trying to ruin her special day, with hashtags about forgiveness and family. She's milking the victim card for all it's worth, I said. Most of her friends have no idea what really happened. Jake shook his head. Man, your family's something else. What's your endgame in all this? I told him about the trust, how Grandpa had set it up, how Mom's $180,000 share was locked until she turned 62, and how the will had that special clause about forfeiture if anyone was convicted of financial crimes against family. His eyebrows shot up. No way. So if she's found guilty, her entire share gets redistributed. And since I'm the secondary trustee, I'm the one who'll make that happen, I said. It's not revenge, it's justice. She's spent her whole life taking from me. Money, time, peace of mind. Now she finally gets to learn what that feels like. As for Lily, she's collateral damage. She could have done the right thing and fixed this, but instead she doubled down and played the victim. Jake raised his drink. Gotta hand it to you, Em. Most people would have folded by now. You're holding your ground. The next few days were a blur of legal updates and phone calls. Detective Harper checked in, saying they'd pulled Mom's financial records and uncovered other shady transactions. Apparently, this wasn't her first time borrowing from family without permission. Friday afternoon, exactly 1 week after the theft, I got an unexpected call. It was Mark, Lily's fiancé. I barely knew the guy, but he sounded rattled. Emily, hey. I know this is weird, but can we meet for coffee? Just the two of us? That caught my attention. Sure, I said. Tomorrow morning? Yeah, thanks. Saturday morning, I got there early and grabbed a quiet corner booth. Mark showed up 10 minutes later, looking exhausted like he hadn't slept in days. He slid into the seat across from me, rubbing the back of his neck. Thanks for meeting me, he said. I know things are pretty messed up right now. That's one way to put it, I said, leaning back. He exhaled. Look, I need you to understand something. I didn't know your mom stole that money. Lily told me you'd agreed to help with the wedding, that you were happy to contribute. I studied him. He looked sincere, not defensive. And you believed her? Even though I've never talked to you about the wedding once? He winced. She said you two had a complicated relationship, that you were more comfortable handling things through your mom. I thought it was strange, but I wanted to believe her. We're getting married in 7 weeks, or at least that was the plan. So what changed? I asked. He rubbed his face. The cops came by Thursday to ask questions. I was there. After they left, I asked Lily straight up if she knew the money was stolen. She broke down and told me everything. My stomach tightened. Everything. He nodded miserably. Your mom didn't just steal your card that night. She'd been planning it for weeks. Lily told her where you kept your wallet and documents. She scoped your place out during that visit a couple months ago. It was Lily's idea to hit the account at night while you were asleep so you wouldn't notice right away. My fists clenched under the table. So Lily wasn't just benefiting from the theft, she'd helped orchestrate it. So she planned this with my mom, I said evenly. Yeah, he admitted. Your mom wanted to get the money no matter what, but Lily's the one who said you'd never agree to it if they asked. She said taking it was the only way. I sat there, stunned but not entirely surprised. It was like every suspicion I'd had was suddenly confirmed. Why are you telling me this? I finally asked. Mark looked me in the eye. Because I'm not marrying someone who'd help steal from her own sister. I called off the wedding this morning. The words hung heavy between us. You called it off? I repeated. Gave her the ring back an hour ago, he said quietly. Told her I can't build a life with someone capable of that kind of betrayal. She's been blowing up my phone ever since, but I blocked her. He showed me his messages, Lily begging, blaming mom, threatening, crying. Asterisk Peter, please. It was mom's idea. I'll fix it. You'll regret this. Asterisk and then, asterisk I'll tell everyone you left me at the altar. That you cheated. Asterisk I shook my head slowly. She's really going for the full victim act, huh? He gave a bitter laugh. Yeah, but I'm done playing along. I'm prepared for it, Peter said, his voice steady. I already told my family the truth. I respected that. The guy had guts. So what do you need from me? I asked. Nothing really, he replied. I just wanted you to know not everyone's against you in this. And I thought you should see the full extent of what they planned. My stomach tightened. There's more. Yeah, he said quietly, unlocking his phone and scrolling through his photos. He turned the screen toward me. Screenshots of text messages between Lily and my mom. Detailed plans about sneaking into my apartment, discussing which vendors to book. Even one that made my stomach twist. Asterisk Emily's too soft to actually press charges. She'll cave once the wedding gets close. Asterisk that one hit like a punch to the chest. Can I get copies of these? I asked. Already sent them to your email, he said. Figured the cops might need them. For a moment I couldn't speak. Thanks, I managed. We talked for another half hour. When it was time to leave, he shook my hand. For what it's worth, I'm sorry you're going through this. They've spent years making you believe you're the problem. You're not. They are. I drove home in silence, mind spinning. My own sister hadn't just benefited from the theft, she'd helped plan it. And the entire time, she'd been posting online about how grateful she was, how blessed she felt, how family meant everything. The hypocrisy was almost impressive. That afternoon, I forwarded Peter's screenshots to Detective Harper. 20 minutes later, she called. Miss Carter, these messages change everything. If Lily knowingly participated in the plan, we can charge her as an accomplice. Are you prepared for that? I thought about all the times she'd gotten away with things, lying, stealing, wrecking my car, and mom always covering for her. This time would be different. Yes, I said. Charge her. The next week was absolute chaos. Monday morning, Harper brought Lily in for questioning. With the new evidence, they had enough to move forward. She was arrested Tuesday afternoon. My phone exploded again. Angry texts from family members accusing me of tearing the family apart, ruining Lily's life, destroying mom. No one seemed to care that they'd committed actual crimes. It was all about keeping the peace. Wednesday, mom's lawyer called. His polished tone from before was gone, replaced by thinly veiled panic. Ms. Carter, given recent developments, my client would like to offer a settlement. She'll return the full $15,000 immediately and cover all legal costs, in exchange for dropping the charges. No. Miss Carter, please listen. I said no. She had plenty of chances to fix this. She chose not to. He tried to appeal to my emotions. Family healing, fresh starts, forgiveness. I shut him down each time. Finally, his voice hardened. You're making a serious mistake. This will follow you forever. I'll survive, I said and hung up. Friday afternoon, Harper called again. Miss Carter, your mother's been formally charged with credit card fraud, identity theft, and felony theft. Your sister's charged as an accomplice. They're both facing serious jail time, but the prosecutor's office is offering a plea deal, probation, community service, and a criminal record, no jail, if they pay full restitution immediately and admit guilt in court. Admit it publicly? I asked. Yes. They'd have to allocate, state what they did under oath. They have until the end of the day to accept, or it goes to trial Monday. I thanked her and hung up. Then I waited. 2 hours later, mom called. I didn't answer. 3 more calls came, then a voicemail. Her voice was trembling. Emily, please pick up. We need to talk about Monday. The lawyer says we should take the plea, but that means admitting everything in court. Everyone will know. Please, there has to be another way. I didn't respond. Saturday morning, an unknown number popped up, Lily. I ignored it, but she left a voicemail. Emily, it's me. Look, I know you're mad, but please don't let this go to court. Peter left me. The wedding's canceled. Everyone knows what happened. I've lost everything. I'll pay you back myself, I swear. I'll get a job, just please don't make us go through this. Her voice cracked, followed by quiet sobbing. For a second I almost felt something, not forgiveness but maybe pity. Then I remembered her text. Emmy's too soft to actually press charges. Yeah, not anymore. Monday morning I went to court. Detective Harper said I didn't need to, but I wanted to see it through. Call it closure. Call it satisfaction. I call it both. The courtroom was small and sterile, filled with lawyers, defendants, and spectators. I sat in the back. Mom and Lily sat at the front beside their attorney, both looking pale, dressed in black like they were at a funeral. Lily's eyes were red and swollen, probably for sympathy points. The judge, a stern woman named Judge Hayes, called the case. Both of them stood as the charges were read out loud. The judge looked at them over her glasses, expression unreadable. How do you plead? Judge Hayes asked, her voice echoing through the quiet courtroom. Mom's lawyer cleared his throat. Your Honor, both defendants wish to enter guilty pleas and accept the prosecution's plea agreement. The judge nodded slightly. Very well. Miss Carter, you understand that by pleading guilty, you're admitting to these crimes under oath, and you will have a permanent criminal record? Mom's voice trembled as she answered, barely audible. Yes, Your Honor. Lily just nodded, too choked up to speak. Then, Judge Hayes said, adjusting her glasses, Allocute, tell this court what you did. The silence in the room was thick. Mom's shoulders shook as she took a breath. I entered my daughter's apartment without permission, in the middle of the night. I took her credit card from her desk and used it to make purchases totaling $15,000 for my other daughter's wedding. I did this knowing she had refused to give me the money. I acted intentionally and without her consent. The judge turned to Lily. And you, Miss Carter? Lily's voice broke as she spoke. I helped plan it. I told my mother where my sister kept her card. I knew the money was being taken without permission. I used it to pay for my wedding, knowing it was stolen. The courtroom went still. The judge watched them both for a long moment, then said, This court accepts your guilty pleas. You are each sentenced to 3 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and restitution of $15,000, to be repaid according to a probation schedule with the first payment due in 30 days. You will also complete court-ordered counseling. Any violation of these terms will result in immediate incarceration. They both nodded, faces pale and humiliated. As people began to file out, Mom looked back and spotted me sitting quietly in the back row. Her eyes were red, filled with tears and something that looked like regret. I just looked back at her, feeling nothing. Outside the courthouse, Lily tried to approach me, her lawyer holding her back. Emily, please. Can we talk? She called after me. I didn't even look her way. I just walked to my car, got in, and drove off. 3 days later, my phone started ringing again. Mom first, then Lily, then the usual parade of relatives, everyone suddenly desperate to talk, to move on, to heal as a family. None of them wanted accountability, just closure on their terms. Then Friday morning, a number I didn't recognize lit up my phone. I answered. Is this Emily Carter? A professional-sounding woman asked. Yes. Who's calling? This is Jennifer Walters from Cornerstone Bank. I'm calling regarding Eleanor and Lily Carter. They've listed you as a contact on a loan application. My stomach sank. A loan application? Yes. They've applied for a joint personal loan of $15,000 to fulfill their restitution payment to you. However, due to their recent convictions, the application was flagged. I just need to verify some details. So, they were trying to borrow money to pay me back, the same money they stole, probably at a sky-high interest rate they'd later blame me for. I'm not involved in their financial decisions, I said firmly. Whatever they choose to do is their business. Understood, she said briskly. Thank you for confirming. That's all I needed. She hung up. I sat there for a long moment, realizing the 30-day restitution deadline was closing in fast, and they were broke. Mom couldn't touch her trust yet, and Lily had no job. Good. That afternoon I finally called Dad. Emily. Been trying to reach you, he said. Saw the court records. Hell of a week. Yeah, that's one way to put it, I said. Listen, I need to talk about Grandpa's trust. Mom was convicted of fraud against me. That activates the forfeiture clause, right? He paused. Yeah, it does. You want to move forward with it? Absolutely, I said. File it. All right, he said. I'll send you the trustee paperwork. You'll need to file notice with the court and the trust administrator. It takes about 60 days to process, but once it's done, her share gets redistributed. You'll get the largest portion since you're the victim. And Lily, her share's tied to the same clause. She loses hers too. Combined, that's about $225,000. I sat there letting that sink in. $225,000. 15 times what they stole. Do it, I said. Make it official. That evening, I drove to Mom's house for the first time since the theft. I didn't go inside right away. Just sat across the street, watching the lights through the window. Shadows moved around inside. I wondered if they were arguing, crying, or just planning which relative to guilt trip next. Then my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Asterisk, I know you're outside. Please come in. We need to talk. Asterisk, of course she'd seen me. Woman always had radar for guilt. I got out of the car and walked up to the door. She opened it before I could knock, looking 10 years older than she had 2 weeks ago. I stepped inside. Lily was sitting on the couch looking just as wrecked. We need to talk about the restitution payment, Mom said, gesturing toward the dining table, which was covered in papers, loan applications, budget printouts, bank statements. We don't have $15,000 in cash. The bank's offering a loan, but the interest rate's 23%. It'll take us 5 years to pay it off. Not my problem, I said evenly. Lily's head snapped up. What do you mean, not your problem? You're the one who pressed charges. You put us in this position. No, I said, my voice cold. You put yourselves here when you decided to steal from me. Her face flushed red. How can you be so heartless? Family's supposed to forgive. I'm supposed to what? I cut in. Let you rob me and say thank you? That's not family, Lily. That's manipulation. And last I checked, normal families don't plan midnight heists against each other. Mom raised her hand, trying to calm things down. Emily, please. Everyone calm down, Mom said, her voice trembling. Emily, please. There has to be a way we can fix this. What if we set up a payment plan directly with you? Smaller amounts over time? I crossed my arms. You mean like the 12-month plan your lawyer already pitched, the one I turned down? We're desperate, Mom said, and for once, there wasn't a hint of guilt tripping in her tone. If we take that loan, we'll be in debt for years. Lily can't get a job with a criminal record. And if my employer runs another background check for my certification renewal, I could lose my job. We're drowning. I looked at them both, the two people who had spent years justifying every selfish thing they'd ever done, and saw what was left of their lives, regret, fear, and the mess they'd created. Part of me felt satisfaction, but buried under it a faint ache stirred. Not forgiveness, maybe not ever, but something less sharp than rage. Here's what's going to happen, I said evenly. You're going to take that loan. You're going to pay me back every penny within the 30 days the court ordered. Then you're both going to therapy, real therapy. Not that court-mandated checkbox version. You're going to figure out why you thought it was okay to treat me like your personal bank for 25 years. Lily opened her mouth, but I raised a hand before she could speak. And if you actually do the work, if you actually change, if you show real remorse over time, maybe we can rebuild something. But it won't be what it was. It can't be. Because that version of our family was built on you two taking from me. And I'm done being taken from. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Emily, please. There's something else. Her voice faltered. The trust fund. Your father told us you're enforcing the forfeiture clause. That money is our future, our security. So Dad had already warned them. Yeah, I said. You committed fraud against me. The clause is crystal clear on what happens when that happens. Lily's face twisted with fury. That's $200,000. That's my inheritance. You can't just take it. I'm not taking it, I said calmly. You're forfeiting it. Big difference. Grandpa saw who you were decades ago and built in protection for the rest of us. You just proved him right. Mom sank into a chair, hands clutching her face. We'll have nothing, she whispered. No savings. No safety net. I met her eyes. Then you'll have what most people have, whatever you earn. Welcome to reality. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by Lily's quiet sobs. I didn't feel triumph, just a strange kind of emptiness. Like finishing a story I never wanted to write. I'm leaving, I said, turning toward the door. You've got 27 days to make the payment. After that, we'll see. Emily, wait. Mom's voice stopped me as I reached the threshold. Do you hate us? I turned back. She didn't look like the manipulative woman who'd stolen from me anymore. She just looked broken. No, I said truthfully. I don't hate you. I just don't trust you. And I don't know if I ever will. That's yours to fix, not mine. Then I walked out, got into my car and drove away without looking back. For weeks later, on the final day before their probation deadline, the restitution payment hit my account. I deposited it, watched my savings balance return to normal, and felt something in my chest finally unclench. 2 months after that, the trust forfeiture went through. A check for $140,000 arrived in my name, my share of the redistributed funds. I deposited it into a high-yield savings account and didn't touch a cent. That money wasn't revenge. It was protection, something they could never take from me again. Well, they could try. But we've already seen how that turns out. Mom texted me every so often, short updates about her therapy sessions, small apologies that started to sound less scripted each time. I'd reply sometimes. Polite, distant, controlled. Lily stopped trying after her 6th unanswered apology text. Heard through the grapevine that Peter had moved out of state and that she was working at a call center, trying to piece her life back together. Good. Maybe she'd finally learn what earning something feels like. They tried to drown me in their entitlement and lies. Instead, they drowned themselves. And me? I didn't sink. I learned how to swim.